Sorry I'm late, everybody. I was doing something, but I'm glad I'm getting some people here. Just gonna wait till a few more show up. And I'm seeing Aaron Doan is probably already got what I'm talking about. Yeah, what's up, everybody? Just gonna wait till a couple more people show up. So far, it says I have 2 viewers, or maybe more than that. Looks like I have only one viewer, hoping to have more. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. Let's see if I can get some invites. Let's see. Oh my god. First of all, how y'all doing, by the way? I'm gonna see if I could email some people, see if they want to come or even gonna show up. Hmm. I mean, first of all, this is a very separate topic that we're going to talk about. It's going to be about what I like to call net neutrality. I'm gonna look at the comment section real quick to see what's going on. What's up, the Shadow? Matter of fact, if y'all want to join in, um, here's one way you could try. Link right here. But today's topic is going to be focused on net neutrality and why it's important that it's saved and not destroyed. I put down the link if anyone wants to come in. I got a few emails that I'm going to see if I could try to get some people there through the emails. If they want to join through the emails. Because it's going to be a very serious topic. see who else I want to fight. Yeah, if y'all want to go into I put in a link. So if y'all want to add your 2 cents to the conversation, you can about net neutrality, because this is a very important topic that I've actually been thinking about for a very long time, because it involves with the freedom of the internet and how and what can we do. So, but first, I'm going to see if anyone is still in the chat. Hey, Roddy Morrison. Sorry, forgive me if I pronounced your name wrong. Stephanie Jarrell, Crystal Clear, the Shadow Assassin, Aaron Doan. I'm saving the internet. Well, that's good. Yes, because the internet is an important topic that evolves with the conversation. I'm trying to get some people who may not be too busy. I'm even emailing them if they want to be part of this panel. If I don't get anyone, then oh well. And if y'all want to come in, I've left the link on the description box. So if you want to come in, that's okay. We need everyone talking about this situation. I'll probably not gonna be able to email everyone I want to try to get. All right, another person. I'm gonna put down one more email real quick, and then we're gonna get started with today's topic. All right, Torin Blaze, how y'all doing? Thank you for coming. I guess I might as well get started. I don't want to hold y'all up, so I'm gonna share my screen real quick. All right. Well, let me make sure the screen has been. All right. I bet you knowing what y'all looking at. There are all memes and image pages concerning one particular topic, and that is the freedom of our internet. Um, Hold on. I need to close a lot of stuff. All right. But back to this. The freedom of our internet is what we're talking about, also known as net neutrality. It was a system that was put in by our government to make sure that all websites and all web traffic is able to throw through the internet freely, equally, so that consumers of the internet will be able to explore websites, as many websites as they please, at least the legal ones. However, there's been a threat about that by a number of people. Some members within the FCC, which is the Federal Communications Committee, and a number of ISPs, big telecom companies, cable television, and other media outlets who own telecom companies, the telephone, and who also own ISPs like Comcast, Verizon. They want more control of the internet so that they can make more money. What's one way to do that? By repealing net neutrality. Net neutrality is important to have. It's a thing that we must have, we should have, is because it keeps ISPs like Comcast and Verizon from basically just messing around with people's websites and just only picking websites that favor them. With net neutrality, whether you anyone based off of political views or whatever can have websites, and consumers can visit as many websites as they want, and not one ISP can just block and throttle legal content. But the FCC and the Trump administration and a number of telecom companies want to get rid of all that. If they succeed, well, let's just say the internet will change forever. Let's just say, for example, CNN, if an ISP is okay with the content of CNN or NBC News, because Comcast owns NBC, they will give it what is called fast lanes, which means they can control the speed of certain websites, like anything owned by NBC, so that it'll be faster for you to use, which will be good, that you'll be able to just go with a flash and not have to worry about your website janking or whatever if you are running the NBC website, and things will be good. But unfortunately, if you have an independent website that does not agree with Comcast, Comcast will have the right to throttle your website or slow it down. They may not destroy it immediately, but they will try to throttle, so it makes it harder for consumers and users to go on websites. Unless, of course, that particular website decides to pay a high expensive bribe to that website, and basically the website, in order to stick on, oh, hey, Cap, basically, hey, if you want to come in, there's a link in the description box if you want to come in and add your 2 cents to the conversation. But anyway, if you're an independent website, you could be forced to pay a bribe to a big corporate ISP in order to stick around, or at least be used by customers through that ISP. If you cannot pay that bribe, that is another way they could shut you down. And that's not good. They basically will find a way to just shut you down, shut your website down, or make it harder for you people to use the website that they don't want to use the website no more. And basically, if consumers like certain websites, well, be careful because your favorite website could be very affected by this. I believe that's you, Torrid Blaze. How's it going? Uh, hey, how's it going? Can anyone hear Torrid Blaze? Oh, and hey, Lady of Soul. Hey, if you want to come in as well, there's a link in the chat if you want to come in.
Yo, what's up?
Hey,
What's
what's
up,
up?
people? Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you now. It's just the audio is kind of shaky, but I'm hearing you a little bit.
Alright, cool.
So, what do you think so far what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think it's something we need to look out for, you know?
Yes, but to make matters worse, tomorrow is when the so-called policy is supposed to expire. The net neutrality policy is supposed to expire.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, so here's what first of all, let's go back to what has happened as the result by this. Because there's an individual I want to show who is responsible for this mess in the first place. You see this man right here?
Who's that?
This is the head chairman of the FCC. And look, there's even a little devil. Now, this is the real person, and this is someone basically making him look like a devil because right now, he is the devil of the FCC. This is Ajit Pai.
Edgy
Um,
Pie.
yes. Now he was first put into the FCC by the Obama administration. Oh look! Oh look! It's him being. It looks like him had a love child with Kim Jong Un. And look, it's a Joker. But for in the serious matter, he was first entered the FCC by, unfortunately, Obama because they had to be fair to put in both Democrats and Republicans into the FCC.
Mm.
But they need to do enough. There's actually multiple FCC commissioners, but the president of the United States will put in one that will be considered the head guy, the head honcho. He's the main chairman. He usually has the final vote.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even if he's the final vote, if four or five people don't agree with him, he can still be overturned. But he is considered the boss
Mm.
of the entire FCC council. He was appointed from just a minor commissioner to head commissioner by this man. This is the guy right here, our
Donald
dumbass Joffrey Chump.
Trump.
Yes. So now, do you understand what's the situation?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the guy that appointed him. I even have them in a couple have them in a couple pictures where they're together. Well, or at least their pictures are together. Look, we have this Johnny Quest Haji duel in our government that is trying to allow corporations to deregulate the internet so that corporations can have more control, which could affect customers.
Mm.
It could cause them to not be able to access websites because I'm going to show you the on other ways other than just having the website slowed down what they're trying to do late next. And basically, they're just this duel is causing a lot of problems. So now people have been protesting. Now, like I said, I was going to go back. Um, in 2015, Obama put in an executive order called Title II, which was to protect net neutrality from being repealed and being damaged until the Congress and Senate could put in a permanent law to for the fate of the internet. Because
Mm.
executive orders can just be turned away just like that by the next commander in chief. But if the
Yeah.
Senate and Congress put in a law, they can't repeal it as easily. But anyway, um, Ajit Pai, the man you just saw, this last year decided to put in a vote to basically repeal the rules so that corporations like Comcast, because there's a lot of corporations that are against net neutrality, that are actually happy that a GPI is doing this. This is one of them. Ooh, sorry, wrong thing. I was supposed to put that. This is one of them. Y'all, now everyone in the chat room is familiar with this particular company. Unfortunately, I use it. My family uses it. My parents and all that. Y'all know who this company is. This is Comcast. It is one of the biggest media outlets in the world. It owns NBC and the movie studio Universal Studios and its studios, counter studios like Illuminations, which is basically
Mm.
this one guy here on the chat room saying, "Why is it that most of the melanated people running our government love to coon it up for this white zaddy? Just what I've noticed." Yes, yes, this is not a white man that's the head of the FCC, but yet he is doing the white racist dirty work. As you know, Ajit Pai is of Indian, Hindu slash Indian descendant. Though he is born here in the United States, he is of that Indian descendant.
Mm.
So, what do you think about so far about this? I want to hear your thoughts.
My thoughts is that, I'm kind of confused about how it all happened, as in how it all got approved by Donald Trump. I mean, I would expect more resistance from other organizations, but they just let it kind of slip through. I'm kind of confused as to how that could happen.
Well, the real blame is on the other politicians. Right now, this is why I'm happy with the United States Senate. A number of Democrats, mostly the entire Democrats that are in the Senate, along with a few Republicans, felt that this was wrong. So they trying to put in this vote called the CRA, um,
CRA.
like the Congress Restore Act. This would reverse Ajit Pai's um decision to repeal net neutrality. However, they will have to also have the House put their version, put it together, and then somehow Donald Trump will have to have a heart, 'cause I seriously doubt it, to sign in, and it will restore net neutrality. Or if he vetoes it, Congress, both House and the Senate, will have to have an excuse to have the veto override, so the law would eventually pass. That's what
Mm,
an override does.
mm.
Another thing that is trying to stop the repeal. Now, one way that people are trying to get the people of Congress and government to basically help save the internet is by people calling their congressmen or their governors or their congresswomen or their senators to vote. That's what happened. The Senate heard the cries of the constituents, and they, even some Republicans, even some Trump supporters, are not happy with the net neutrality situation of
So,
having it repealed.
so, so does this only affect America or other countries as well?
No, this is America's internet. This only affects internet in America. But we use websites from different countries and stuff.
Yeah.
So ISPs will start having more control of what websites we go in, including even international. But it's mainly just the United States issue with the use of the internet, because the internet is worldwide. The whole world, almost the whole world, uses the internet.
Hmm.
But it could cause the United States to be isolated. One way you can isolate a country is by cutting off that access. And this net neutrality being repealed, net neutrality is a good thing, but having it being repealed and to a point where we don't have it is could isolate us. There's
Mm,
been other countries that have this same problem where there is no neutrality, and it's caused isolation. China and Mexico are just the example. They can't get as much freedom on the internet as we can, at least for now, because they are in have the same type of website that internet service that Ajit Pai is trying to approve, where corporations and maybe even some part of government can control what website you can go on instead of you having the freedom to just go on any website at any time.
mm. Now I get it.
Yes. So that's why I was happy. Now, a number of federal court of attorney generals have now and tech companies have now launched a lawsuit against the FCC, and if they win, net neutrality will also be restored through the courts. I think they'll do the district courts, the federal courts, and the Supreme Court, whichever court, the highest court, of course, will be the Supreme Court if the case goes that far. But if any of the courts were to favor the tech companies and the attorney generals that are fighting to restore net neutrality, it will stop a Ajit plan, and that's why people have become cyber activists and trying to fight to save net neutrality. They're joining with those politicians and tech companies that are trying to restore net neutrality. Anything to say?
No, not really. I'm just trying to absorb all the information, you know?
Yeah. So everyone in the chat room, is anyone getting what I'm saying in the chat room? Well, yeah. All right. This one said they're doing this for cable corporations and make them more money. Internet is becoming too independent for them. Yes, exactly. I can't really pronounce this name. Forgive me if I can, but that's exactly what's happening. You see, cable companies like Comcast are losing audiences to independent media, especially independent media on the internet, because the independent media has been kicking butt, and that is due to the internet access to the internet. We're on YouTube. Of course, there's um, the black websites that I've been trying to help get people to go to, called Blackspot TV, blackspot.com, blackjunction.com, and blackjunction.tv.
Mm.
Um, these are black owned media platforms. Um, you have Netflix. See, Comcast, even if they work with Netflix, they kind of also hate Netflix. Netflix airs the same shows that Comcast airs at a cheaper price to streaming. The streaming, see, independent media and the streaming business has been kicking the butt. Has both been kicking the butts of satellite TV, dish TV, and cable corporations. Uh,
Facts.
also together, we are called. They're called the cut quarters. Yes, that's right, Lady of Soul. Viewership in the mainstream media, your CNNs, your MSNBCs, your CBS News, and especially Fox News, the now considered the most hated news network. Fox is now, and then you have Sinclair. That's like another Fox News, Sinclair, who's trying to control a lot of the local media outlets in America. They're losing viewership because people have been trusting social media, independent media, and streaming. And then for entertainment, like action shows and movies, they've been going to streaming websites like Hulu, even though Comcast owns at least a piece of Hulu, and Disney owns another piece. Um, but Netflix and Hulu have been airing a lot of shows, and then even YouTube. Why do you think they've been going after YouTube? Was this caused um this ad crisis over at YouTube? Because they are a streaming service that's airing shows at a cheaper price, as
Mm.
well as original content. Anything to say?
No, it's it's clear to me, man. Like I'm just listening to you. I wasn't really expecting you to make me im- make me, you know, say anything just tuning in.
I don't know. I mean, since you're on the panel, you might as well. I mean, you're. That's why I like when I do invite people to the panel. I
Mm.
like to hear the perspective um of what's going on with the issues and stuff. When
Well,
people
in my
are,
case, I really don't know much about net neutrality, as the honest truth. But I mean, you just giving the information is enough for me to know a bit more. You know, I should do my own research too, but you just coming in here and just giving us what we need to know. That's good
well,
enough for me, you know.
yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have to do their own research because the mainstream media, they have been very silent.
I
There may be
agree.
yeah, they and especially Comcast. Comcast owns one of those mainstream media outlets, and that is NBC. So of course they've been very silent. And then of course Fox News is the is basically the butt kisser of of the Trump administration. Ajit Pai is appointed by the Trump administration to run the FCC. Well, hold on. Hey, Decent D, Kaiman. Nice to see y'all. If you don't want to come in, there should be a link. I'm gonna put the link in again. If you want to come in and have your say into the situation. I was hoping to get other people.
So
Um,
basically, it's all just about money. That's
yes.
just it. It's just all about money.
Well, not exactly just money, but money is they do
The
want
main.
a big paycheck. And even
Yeah.
Ajit Pai. There's another thing you should know about Mr. Ajit Pai. Let's go back to his picture. This man, before this man was even in the FCC, do you know what he used to do before
What?
he was a lawyer? But guess who his clients was? He was for a business, a lawyer for a certain particular business. You want to know who he's the lawyer for?
Donald Trump.
No, that was Michael Cohen. But
Hmm.
you want another guess? Or let me see if the comment section, can you guess who he was a lawyer? What Ajit Pai? I think Kyman got it right. I want to see if anyone else knows. But yeah, Comcast is not the only people that are supporting what a GPI is doing. Kyman, who is on the on the channel in the chat room, got it right. He was a lawyer for Verizon, who is also in favor because they too are a ISP, and plus they own FiOS, which is their television provider. You see, television providers, whether it be cable, whatever you call files, or satellite and dish network, um, like AT&T, who owns a piece of DirecTV, which is a dish network. And, you know, AT&T is now trying to own a cable company, Time Warner, who is the parent company of the movie studio Warner Brothers and the cable company Spectrum.
Yeah.
You see, Warner Brothers also does not want independent media running wild on the internet. Now they do own a piece of the streaming service Hulu, so the only streaming service they want to basically do good is Hulu, but only because they own a piece of it. They do not want Netflix to succeed because Netflix is independently owned freely, not by the cable companies. Oh, the EU is trying to destroy the internet as well. Uh, yeah, yes, I think the EU is kind of right wing too.
Yeah. So that's what I. That's why I want. That's why I asked first whether the net neutrality affected just America or other countries too, because I study in Europe.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that Europe was going through the same situation. But I know there are countries like China and Mexico that don't have net neutrality, so it's already affected them. China has been very isolated. Same with North Korea, and then you have countries who have no internet, which is mostly in Africa. See, they don't. Not only do they not have net neutrality, they barely even have internet.
But at the same time, it seems like countries like China and Korea are a bit oppressing their people through the internet. If you get what I mean.
Yes. See, net neutrality is another form of freedom of speech, freedom of expression. When you're able to go through the internet and do whatever, you have the freedom to talk about news reports that basically the mainstream media refuse to talk about.
Mm.
Because the mainstream media has been lying to people or just ignoring things, independent media or just basically just a guy who just wants to rant like myself, basically sorry about that. Basically, we'll use the internet to talk about the stuff that no one else is talking about. And a lot of people in the audiences of news networks are starting to go to the internet for news more. This has pissed off a lot of cable companies and satellite TV. And yes, so I guess it depends on what a country or a union of countries want to do when it comes to internet. Now, India didn't have net neutrality before, but now they have changed their minds and are now going through the progressive, which is with to keep or have for the first time net neutrality, while we are about to lose it. But there is ways that we can get it back. One way could be the midterm elections. We vote in politicians that will try to vote to restore net neutrality. That is why voting is important. Yeah. Yeah, Torian is the only one that's part of this panel. If y'all want to join this panel, um I would if like to hear more people's opinion of concern about the net neutrality situation. There's a link into the chat room. If y'all just click on it, and if you're able to get in, um, y'all can get in. Oh, you're having computer issues, Kyman? I'm very sorry. Do you have a phone, a mobile phone at least that can access Google Hangout? Because that's another way you can use the phone too.
Maybe they're just shy, man.
Well, okay. I guess I understand. Yes, decent D. Yes, they want to cableize. That's another thing I want to talk about. They want to do package plans. So I'm gonna go. Uh, no, that's not what I was looking for. Uh, oh well, yeah, right here. Do y'all see what on the screen? This is what they're trying to do to the internet. They're trying to make the internet look like cable TV. You see,
Mm,
TV has where you have to have a package plan where if you just get basic cable, you can only access a certain amount of channels. Now, to get more channels, like your movie channels, your sports channels, you have to upgrade to a premium package for extra amount of money. See, this was the internet wants to do. They want to what some companies want to do, especially Comcast or AT&T, especially if AT&T gets a hold of Time Warner this month, if they're able to succeed in the merger with Time Warner. They want to just basically package where certain websites will be bundled in a certain package, and let's just say now this is just I'm not sure if this is how they're gonna do it, and I don't know which company this is that wants to do it this way. Let's just say you want to do or view websites that are news based. Well, for $5 is you have to pay this amount to go on websites that are news page. This is even especially if you have accounts that you have to pay to use, but then you have to have pay extra amount of money just to use it, just to
mm,
go in the website.
yeah.
Look at just Hollywood or social media websites like Hulu, Netflix, and YouTube for streaming services. If you want to do that, you have to pay $10. Let's just say, for example, you have to pay $10 just to use these websites. And then for music like Napster or iTunes, another $10. And it looks like this company now social sites, this company decided to do zero charge. See, they can also make it where you don't have to pay for basic stuff for social things, but or you have to pay $5 for marketplace. Basically, now this is just what one company wants to do it. There are different companies will do different types of packages. See, they'll do a package like this for $15. to use these websites, or if to use more websites like Twitch, you have to pay $30 a month.
You know what I think actually happened in the case of like streaming sites for movies and television shows? It could actually increase piracy.
Yes, but see, these corporations don't get it. You see, we're doing fine. Now, we already have to pay to use Netflix because they have no sponsors. So they have to do subscription payments monthly. But not only do you now have to, but with this, what they're doing, not only do you have to pay to use the website, you have to pay to go in the website, and then you have to pay extra to use the website. Now that's stupid. Like, why don't I just pay to use the website, not pay to actually go into the website?
I think this will backfire, honestly.
It will backfire because it's getting to a point we're going to have to boycott the internet. You see, now people are protesting. They want, first of all, if the ISPs refuse to stop this idea, it's going to cause people to do like the Montgomery bus boycott and just not use the internet for a
Mm.
while. Another thing will be that people will start demanding politicians to activate a law that will create what is called public option. Public option is right now what people, some activists are now fighting for states to do.
Mm.
Um, that is where you get websites from the government or from a public place, and the taxpayers is controls what's going on, and you can use any website at any time, even in your own home. Another thing that some governments and state governments are doing is they're now providing their own um, net neutrality rules to restore just the states' net neutrality, because there's this thing called states' rights where the states can apply laws in just that particular state. Now there is a catch though. When Ajit Pai knew that the states that are supporting net neutrality would try to do this. So he's trying to claim that he found a way to prevent states from creating their own laws. And if the states try to do that, the lobbies and ISPs could sue the states. And it'll be up to a judge or court to decide should the state law still be allowed or should be repealed and not be active?
Wow, this dude's slick.
Yes. But you know what? Some states, they don't even care. They're willing to fight for their constituents' freedom of the internet. And right now, among them is California. They have already passed the state law to protect net neutrality, and there's already a company already trying to go after them, and that's AT&T, who has is part of a lobbying firm that's trying to sue. Now, if AT&T loses, it will basically convince more states to start passing their own laws. Now, what states can do that can avoid lawsuits is put up a public option. Ajit Pai never put down that you can't do a public option, and I don't think he can't because that will violate states' rights.
Mhm.
So, so now some states might, and some constituents are now going to try to urge states to do a public option with the internet, which means they don't have to always depend on the ISPs, and that's what I know so far. And I mean,
Mm.
this could affect websites.
This can affect everything, man.
Yes, everything. I mean, we're talking about our favorite websites will be harder to access if. Hey, Jalen, welcome. I'm not saying you won't be able to get in YouTube, but if YouTube does anything to piss off Comcast or Verizon, uh, unless YouTube has a lot of money, so they're going to be able to do this. They're going to be able to pay to be active, so we'll still be able to use YouTube. But if YouTube does not have that money, they would just slow their website, and then YouTube will have to pay extra money to get what is called fast lanes. That's one thing. Yeah, fast lanes allows is where if websites like YouTube pay extra money to the ISPs, their websites will go through what is called a fast lane, which will make the traffic less less tightening and will allow the website to be traveled through a lot faster. We'll be able to go to certain websites faster if they pay. However, when I showed the package thing, as consumers will have to pay money just to be allowed to go in that website. Because if we don't have the right package, we could end up like this. You know what this is? Is what could possibly happen if an ISP decides not to let you go on a website if you don't have the right plan, or if it's a political issue or a certain situation that Comcast or and the website do not have agreeing opinions. Comcast can use that as a right to throttle and block a website. Or if Comcast believes that a website is doing anything that is like violates, like if they do not believe in racism, and there's basically you have Breitbart and Alex Jones, which I'm surprised are for the repeal of net neutrality. They can be affected, which I hope they go away. If Comcast does not like their conservative views because Comcast claims to be liberal, they can just throttle them.
So, J Dog, what kind of websites won't be affected by net neutrality?
The following websites that most likely will not be affected are a lot of the bigger websites that can pay the ISPs for faster traffic, so that they'll be able to people who go on the websites can be able to go on their websites, not worry about them slowing down as much.
Hmm.
Also, is websites that agree with Comcast and the policies over at Comcast or Verizon or any other ISP. Basically, any website that does not piss off a certain ISP company are also safe from the issue.
Hmm. All right, clear.
And consumers, the only way consumers can be able to go to the websites, yes, it is a scam, Jalen, is if they have the money to pay monthly to use websites. If they pay for a certain package monthly or just a plan to add a website to go to, that is what will, or if they decide to make that particular amount, certain amount of websites free, and then the bigger, tougher ones you have to pay for. If they decide to make it where you can still make it where you can freely still go to those websites, because they can still make the internet free, but just only make certain websites payable.
Hmm.
That's what will also be able to be protected. Also, I have some. What's the bad news, Jalen? Basically, Jalen in the chat room has some bad news. But yes, a lot of websites now. All of this is supposed to be affected by tomorrow. Now, Comcast, they have signed a clause where they can't really do anything on they can't throw on websites or anything until September, where they still have to follow some net neutrality rules until September.
Hmm.
Dr. Umar's channel got terminated by that's another channel attacked by YouTube. Yeah. See, YouTube have their own version of a net neutrality
Neutrality.
repeal. They're attacking channels. YouTube is gonna have to stop doing this because they're gonna be losing customers very soon, and that's gonna cause them to lose money. And when net neutrality gets repealed, if they have to pay bribes, they won't be able to because they're losing sponsors and they're losing consumers. So they won't be able to have the money to protect them from the ISP trying to get money out of them to stay on the ISP.
I mean, I really feel that we black people, we don't really need to focus on YouTube. We just need to branch out and create our own own kind of website. Like we already have Black Junction,
And
but
Black Spot TV.
and Black Spot TV, all right, but it's not that widely used. But it has potential. You feel me? So I wouldn't worry that much about YouTube anymore.
Yes, that is true. However, we need to finance, make sure that YouTube, that Black Junction and Black Spot TV are heavily financed. So if they have to pay bribes by the ISPs to be used, then they'll at least will give them the money to stick around. Otherwise, they will be blocked, or they'll just be throttled. Well, they'll just they have to go to a slower traffic or a middle traffic where the speed is just decent and will be all right, but they won't get the super fast speed because they can't pay to use the super speed. The website can't does not have enough money to use the super speed, and that is why I've been urging people to go on GoFundMe to go to Black Junction's GoFundMe page and Black Junction's GoFundMe page to fund those websites so that they can get the money to do all this different upgrades. We know that Black Junction TV is now in the process of doing live streaming. Even if they get the live streaming, if they do not have the finance to thrive in a internet that has no net neutrality, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I agree.
And we don't have no we have black owned websites, but we do not, and I mean we do not have black owned ISPs, which means the courts winning a case to save net neutrality, politicians save net neutrality, and the public option right now are governments, state governments going for public options, or the federal government going for public options are the only ways right now until black people start creating their own ISPs is the only way that we could save black websites and that will also save black consumers from being basically ripped off.
Hmm.
All right, this one guy here is let me get a black identity extremist package for 250 a month. Uh, Yes, but that's exactly what could be happening. Basically, what it will be is that Qualiv TV, Black Spot TV, Black Junction, all the black websites will be together in a package for $50 a month or something like that. They can do anything they want when this net neutrality thing gets expires, unless of course the House, the courts, or the president decides to restore it. Which I believe I kind of predict that it will be restored eventually sometime in the future. Because this is going to be a backlash. There's going to be a bunch of protests there's going to be a lot of voting. That's why it's important to vote. starting this November. Matter of fact, it's important to vote now in the primaries. If you live in Virginia, there have been a number of primaries that have already happened. Uh, One primary is about to happen this Tuesday in my state of Virginia. So if you happen to live in the state I live in or any other states that's about to do primaries, I suggest you start voting there. And then this November, midterm election, you got to use that vote. Also, you got to use that vote and demand. That means you demand your politicians, you call them on the phone, go to town halls, text them, email them, and tell them that you want net neutrality. Either you support net neutrality being restored or you're not getting the vote. But I still hope you find candidates, find the politician and candidates that are for net neutrality and vote for them. That's the only thing right now, and protest. That's the only thing right now that could save the internet. I think that's all I have to say for now. And Jalen, thank you for telling everyone about the Umar Johnson situation. I don't know, it's just YouTube. I wish there's a way we can contact Umar Johnson. Hey, information. Hey, why don't you come into the conversation? I'm gonna leave you a link. Matter of fact, I emailed you. Yes, I think I emailed you. I still might hold on a second. I left a link in the chat if you can get through there. I'm about to go to the Gmail real quick to see if I can give you an email too, just in case. All right, there's a link. I'm gonna see if you got it, but yeah, there's a link in the chat room, and also I just sent you an email or a message, so hopefully you got it. Oh, okay, you'll be there in just a minute. Okay, that's good. Anyone else wants to join in? If not, then that's okay. Jalen, would you like to join in?
Come on, Jalen.
I mean, it's up to you. All right, we're gonna stop this for a little while. We're just waiting to see if the information can get information man show can get in. He said he might try to get in. But yeah, Jalen, thank you for telling us about Umar. That's another black YouTuber, and I bet you when this net neutrality thing happens, when this starting tomorrow, there's gonna be a lot more. We won't be just be removed from YouTube. We might end up being removed from the internet completely. I mean, Superboy has Harvey Superboy has even warned us on his channel that one of the things, this is why I titled how net neutrality is important for the black community, because if black people do not have internet freedom, we could be removed from the internet or worse. I'm a follower of Mr. Superboy, Harvey Superboy, and he said that one of the recent plans is to remove black people from social media. I think Professor Black Truth has even discussed this.
True. The best chance of getting our voices heard is through the internet.
That is correct. I first heard about the net neutrality situation from a white platform that I watch called the Humanist Report. The guy who, and also the Young Turks, they are in support of net neutrality, which is a good thing. So
Yeah.
you have some white allies who are fighting against Ajit Pai and the FCC's plan to remove net neutrality
I
because
mean, the Young Turks isn't probably the best ally we can have, but I mean, at this point, we just need to take what we can get, right?
yeah, they're at least. I mean, they have some talking points, but they're at least they do not want net neutrality to be repealed because they depend on freedom in the internet, and this is why I'm also shocked that some conservatives, some people like Infowars, would not be for net neutrality because this could affect them. Comcast is declared liberal and InfoWars is conservative, which means Comcast can get rid of Breitbart and InfoWars just like that, just of political disagreements. And yes, the internet has been basically our greatest. This basically, they could destroy democracy just by ruining our internet. Internet is the last force of democracy and freedom. If anything were to happen to the internet, that's it for democracy as a whole and for freedom. We're already losing physical freedoms and
Mhm.
freedoms outside of the internet. We're about to lose freedoms in the internet. That is basically, we have a communist or fascist state if we don't have that already. And now it's even infecting our internet just because some media outlets disagree with what the internet is talking about and because they want more money and viewership.
I mean, there's so much information on the internet, man. Imagine you to pay to find information on the internet when you're in school, when you're studying. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous.
um as long as YouTube does not piss off ISPs, I think we'll still be able to use YouTube. But if the situation, what's going on, yes, black people help. Well, yeah, we kind of helped with the creation of the internet. Well, we at least what black people did for the internet is we helped with some of the financing of the internet just by being customers to different websites, shopping online, subscription to streaming services like Netflix and YouTube. Black people has used their money, and of course, black people creating their own websites like Black Spot and Black Junction. We have helped in some way expanded the internet. There may have been other groups, but black people have been among those groups to help with the existence of the internet. And yet you have people like this moron and this idiot right here, this creature right here, and this even bigger creature right here. These two doing everything to ruin all that. Anything you would like to say?
I agree. They're idiots, man.
Yes. I mean, we had this guy basically almost about to start World War III, and
Yeah, it's true.
World War III. I mean, you should have heard about what he did today. We actually talked about this, and Lisa Cabrera. Do you follow Lisa Cabrera or True Royal Family?
I follow True Royal Family.
Okay, go back to my regular screen. Yeah, basically, what that idiot Trump did was he caused a temper tantrum and pissed off a lot of leaders because he wants Vladimir Putin to be back allowed back into the summit because basically a lot of the Western European countries are having big issues with Vladimir Putin. He's probably another one who's probably has no net neutrality in his country.
Mm.
And basically, you just have this guy running amok. As much as you disagree with Obama or Hillary, they're not too, or even some of the other Republicans or Democrats, they're not as stupid as Trump. Trump, Trump is that stupid. Um,
Yes, it really is.
some of these other politicians are not trying to put in these fascist dictator style um tactics to basically ruin media. Basically, this is part of the attack on media. Trump is already attacking local and mainstream media for news reports that are negative about him. Now he is going to attack the internet. That's another form of media he is now attacking. Or at least his part of administration is. Or at least a certain sector like the FCC under Ajit Pai is. I mean, this is similar to what Hitler tried to do, or any dictator. Basically, what dictators do, like Vladimir Putin and Hitler, is one of the things to destroy democracy or destroy freedom is to just control the media, and that is any free media or independent media that will go against the government has to be dealt with. And only media that is in your favor of the government or corporations are allowed to be on. And that's exactly what is happening with the repeal of net neutrality.
From just following the dictator handbook, man.
Yes.
Only he's just not smart enough to do it by himself or think of everything by himself.
Nah, yes. Basically, the people he's appointed are basically just corporate hacks.
Yep.
Deep Pi knows that by doing this and by helping it will help Verizon have more control of the media outlets that they run, like their ISP and then their television providing. It will hopefully will force customers back to Verizon to watch news and stuff. And I think they have their own streaming services that they probably will not put money. See, they probably will not put money on their own streaming services, but will make you pay extra to use other streaming services. And
Mm.
also, if Ajit Pai decides to leave and we still don't have net neutrality, he can go back to Verizon in the belief that not only will he get his job back, he might end up getting a better job at Verizon because he's worked for them before with an extra bonus. I mean, he's even been accused of being part of a video with the help of Verizon. That's very controversial.
Yeah.
And his FCC is actually being sued and he's actually under investigations for a lot of lies. When people flooded the accounts of 2,000 comments that were in favor of net neutrality, He said it was a DDoS cyber attack, but now that it looks like he had lied. That is why some attorney generals are now suing him and putting him in investigation, which means if he loses his case, he can be in serious trouble and net neutrality could be restored through the courts.
It's funny. It seems like racism is kind of making him the target. Don't you feel that way? I mean,
Yeah.
if he was a white guy, would it really go after him like that?
Um I don't feel sorry for Ajit Pai because he's actually helping the racism. You see, he's helping racism against black people, and he's also going against white people who are in favor of net neutrality. And he's basically cooning against throwing his own people under the bus because um Torian, he's not white. And there are racists who are against Hindus. He's basically like their version, the Hindus' version of what you call a coon, where you will white daddy at the expense of his people who do not believe in racism against anybody. I mean, Ajipa has could affect hit people who look like him who use the internet freely or have the small businesses used by internet. Yes, small businesses could be businesses that depend on the activation of a free open internet.